Yo, what's up? Welcome back to another episode of The Source. Continuing on with NFL Week 4. Got a London game, mate. Falcons at Jags. Well, not at Jags. They're at Wembley Stadium, actually. Line is Jags -3. Total sitting at 43. Let's go.
Welcome to The Source. The Source. Source. Hey, get the Source.
So action is all over Jacksonville here. Public's all over the Jags. Line hasn't moved. We'll see if this line hits 3.5 closer to kickoff. But as of right now, seems like the odds makers are pretty comfortable playing against all that Jacksonville money. All right, so let's take a look at this one. Obviously, we got a London game. Both teams coming off really ugly-looking losses. I mean, Jacksonville, that game was an absolute disaster. They got completely rocked by the Texans. Jags were favored by over a touchdown in that game at home, coming off a tough loss to the Chiefs, prepared to face a Texans team that wasn't even close to healthy. Defensively, Houston was missing 3 starters, and on offense, of the 5 starting offensive linemen that they had at the start of the season, only one of them played in that game for Houston. It was the perfect opportunity for the Jags to bounce back after the Chiefs loss with a real nice, decisive-looking win in front of their home fans, and they got crushed 37-13. That now makes the Jags 5-20 in their last 25 games against the Texans. And offensively, the surface level numbers weren't even terrible. I mean, they ran for 116 yards on 27 carries. It's not bad. Through the air, Trevor Lawrence was 27 of 40, 278, a touchdown and interception, 67.5% completions, and 7.0 yards per attempt. I mean, it's not terrible. Now, the interception he threw was definitely bad. There was also a real bad fumble in there by Jamal Agnew, I think it was. Blocked field goals, so just shit was not going Jacksonville's way. The point I'm making, though, is the Jags offense wasn't nearly as bad as the final score indicates. The defense, though, well, actually, the run defense was okay. It held the Texans just 86 yards rushing on 26 attempts, just 3.3 yards per carry. So the run defense was okay. But CJ Stroud ripped the Jags up. 20 of 30, 280 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. Stroud was cooking on the Jags. And the Jags pass rush that had that easy matchup against a completely banged up Texans offensive line did next to nothing. Recorded 0 sacks. And we're seeing a pattern here. I mean, through 3 weeks, the Jags run defense is great. They're 3rd in adjusted line yards, 4th in run defense DVOA, 6th in yards per carry allowed. And this isn't new. Jags run defense was good as hell last year, too. Jacksonville's weakness last year was defending the pass, and it's looking like the same exact story this season. Now for the unbelievably good news if you're a Jacksonville Jaguars fan. You're playing the Falcons, and Atlanta doesn't throw the ball. Through 3 weeks, the Falcons have one of the worst passing attacks in the NFL. 28th in DVOA, 29th in adjusted sack rate, 22nd in average passer rating. Falcons are a run-first offense all the way. They lead the NFL in run frequency. Nobody runs the ball more often than the Atlanta Falcons. So what's to stop Jacksonville from stacking the box defensively and taking the run away from Atlanta and forcing Desmond Ridder to make plays downfield? We just saw Detroit do it. They held the Falcons to just 6 points. There's going to be a ton of pressure on Desmond Ridder in this game, and to be honest, I don't like the spot for him. Even dating back to his days in college, Ridder was unreliable on the road, and it's looking like the same story in his NFL career. Just 172 yards per game, 5.3 yards per attempt, 72.4 passer rating in his 3 career road starts in the NFL. And this one isn't just on the road, it's in another continent. They're in Wembley, and the Jags have a big fan base there, so they call this their second home. So this is practically a road game for the Falcons. And it gets even worse for Desmond Ridder. Jacksonville's pass defense tends to run a lot of zone coverage. Almost all of Desmond Ridder's damage through the air this year has come against man coverage. Against zone, Ridder's just 20th in passer rating, 27th in net yards per attempt at just 3.8 yards per attempt against zone coverage. To be honest, this matchup just feels really similar to the matchup last week with Detroit. The Lions defense struggles against the pass like the Jags defense. They sold out, took the run away from Atlanta, and the Falcons offense couldn't do anything. Now, to be fair, I'd say the Detroit defense is definitely better than the Jacksonville defense, but still, I don't see why the Jags can't do the exact same thing, come out with the exact same game plan. And remember, entering that game against the Falcons, the Lions had only 1 sack on the season. They were generating pressure, but only 1 sack. Jags are in the exact same spot. Pass rush still waiting to show up this year, and they're actually 6th in pressure rate. They just haven't been getting the quarterback to the ground. It feels so similar to the Lions-Falcons game. On the other side, we got the Falcons defense, and that unit's been pretty good. They got exposed a bit last week, especially in the first half. Jared Goff cooked them in the first half. 188 passing yards, a touchdown on 8.9 yards per attempt in the first half. They did get it together in the second half, though. Lions offense averaged just 4.6 yards per play in the second half. Atlanta's defense as a whole looks a lot better this year than it did last year, and it's really not getting talked about In 2022, last season, they sat 30th in overall defensive DVOA, 29th against the pass, 24th against the run, 24th on third down, 29th in red zone percentage. All bad marks on defense from the Falcons last year. But this season, those ranks jumped to 20th, 22nd, 10th, 10th, 11th. So a definite jump in production from the Falcons defense. The Falcons run defense should be able to make Jacksonville's offense one-dimensional. Atlanta's been solid against the run, and the Jags really still haven't gotten ETN going, which means there's going to be a lot of pressure on Trevor Lawrence here. If this was the Trevor Lawrence of last December, I'd say no problem. The opportunities are going to be there for him to make plays downfield. His numbers this year aren't looking great, though. 20th in completion percentage, 21st in passer rating, 24th in average depth of target. These just aren't the type of numbers we were seeing to finish out last year. But there are some underlying numbers that should give you hope when it comes to Trevor Lawrence. Pro Football Focus pass grade, he's second. Third in big-time throw percentage, 9th in turnover-worthy play percentage, 2nd in the highest drop rate, so he's not getting much help from receivers. This indicates that he's making the right reads. He's making the big throws. He's taking care of the ball. He just hasn't caught many breaks this year. Theoretically, if you believe in those kind of metrics, we should see a huge turnaround in his production. And like I said, this matchup should be a really nice spot for him. If there's one flaw with this Falcons pass defense, it's their lack of pass rush, and it's a big flaw. They don't have much of a pass rush at all. This year, they're 30th in adjusted sack rate, 23rd in pressure rate, 27th in hurry percentage. And Trevor Lawrence is one of those guys who, like Jared Goff, was insanely efficient when given a clean pocket, but really struggled when under pressure. Trevor Lawrence under pressure last year, 26th in PFF grade, 20th in interceptions, 28th in turnover-worthy play percentage, 18th in passer rating. But with a clean pocket, his ranks dropped to 4th, 5th, 2nd, and 7th in those same categories. Yes, not having Zay Jones on the field is definitely going to hurt the offense a bit, but if Trevor Lawrence and his pass offense can't get it going against this Falcons team that has no pass rush and Calvin Ridley in a revenge spot, then this team's in serious trouble. So I'm back in T-Law in his home away from home. I'm taking Trevor Lawrence in London here. I'm on the Jags. I'm betting them 3 ways. Jags -3, Jags first half -2, and Jacksonville team total over 22.5. Let's do it, Jags. If you want my top bets, parlays of the day, if you want to join the Discord, or if you want to get on the NFL Weekly Against the Spread giveaway contest, head over to KyleKirms.com. All the information's right there on the homepage. NFL Week 4. We got a London game, early morning. Going to be a long day of football. Let's have some fun. Remember to bet responsibly, and I'll talk to you in the Discord.